All right, Fired Up Freedom. I just want to do a little bit of a recap of season 1. It was amazing. I had so much fun, a lot of amazing guests, a lot of great conversation. It was really, really awesome. If you're someone who wants to have a growth mindset, if you're someone who wants to take action and go towards your goals, then Fired Up Freedom is great for you. It doesn't matter if your goal is financial or personal. And now that we're moving into season 2, we're going to be talking a lot of different things surrounding freedom. Fired Up Friday is now Fired Up Freedom. Is when you're networking with people, don't be a parasite. What is a parasite? A parasite is someone who just want to take. What's in it for me? Me. Do you want a stranger coming up to you and saying, hey, I want you to give me A, B, and C, and I'm going to give you nothing, and I want you to be happy about it. It's so awesome because it teaches you how to be on the spot with people. And it teaches you to think on your feet. I want you to challenge yourself to get better at networking. Well, hello there, family. You're listening to Fired Up Freedom with Steve Ryan. Fired Up Freedom. All right. Tap into the world of the Freedom Community. Do you love having conversations with other like-minded people? Then the Freedom Family Community is great for you. Visit steveryan.com today. Do you ever have moments where you feel stress, anxiety, or it's hard to sleep? Then meditation may be the perfect thing to help you. Come and join our meditation channel where there's 24 hours a day on-demand meditation music. Go to steveryan.com/meditation. That's steveryan.com/meditation. It's time to have freedom from the noise. Hey, this is Steve Ryan. So, episode 2 of season 1 of Fired Up Friday, which is now Fired Up Freedom, episode 2 is about networking. And if someone struggled with networking, what this episode did was give some ideas of what you can do to, if you struggle with networking, if you need some tips to know how to network. It's like a beginning episode. Now, there's many more tips that goes beyond this episode, but it's definitely an eye-opener. Now, the reason why networking is so important is sometimes you know the saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. In some cases, that's actually true. So if you don't know the who you know, networking helps you to get to who you know. It also establishes other things. You can meet friends. Some of these friends turn into lifelong friends. You can meet different opportunities of different people that will help you along your path. And you may actually have something to offer to help others along their path. So networking is so important. Even if you're someone who don't really like dealing with people, there are some people like that, networking can still be crucial. And now with the technology today, sometimes we can network in person, other times we can network virtually. Whether it's through video, there's social audio apps, it's all kind of things. And that has eliminated the barriers that was normally be a barrier. Now, before all this stuff was around, the predominant way to network was in person. And that still is a good way. You know, when you meet someone in person, it's just a different energy. You get to see them and things like that. I love meeting people in person. I think it's really awesome. So I hope you enjoyed this episode and get something from it. Take some notes, listen to it a couple of times if you need to, but it's a very, very good episode about networking, which is so crucial. All right. Enjoy. See ya. Fired Up Friday is now Fired Up Freedom. Hey, what's up? Welcome to Fired Up Friday. This is Steve Ryan. All right, so today I want to talk with you guys about networking. I had to get on here and do an extra one today about this because this is so important. All right, so as you know, you have to have a support system. So the only way to get successful, the only way to go somewhere, the only way to move up is to have that support system. And if you don't have a support system, then the only way to get one is to network and get one. So here's my thing, people. All right, this is super, super important. When you're networking with people, or actually before I say this, I got something for you. This is going to help drive it home. Imagine a total stranger came up to you and said, "Hey, I want you to do A, B, and C for me. I don't know you. You don't know me. I want you to do A, B, and C for me. I'm going to give you absolutely nothing. And I want you to smile about it and be happy." You would want to tell that person to get lost. That sounds like a robbery to me. So the point that I'm making here is when you're networking with people, don't be a parasite. What is a parasite? A parasite is someone who just want to take. What's in it for me? Me. I just want to network and I just want to see what I can get. For me. No, don't do that. Have the mindset that you're going to be open to making it a win-win situation. At least ask how somebody's doing, and build relationships with people. See, when I network with people, I genuinely care about people. So maybe this is easy for me. But if you're someone who struggles with networking or struggles with, how to approach people, how to deal with people, or have people, relationship skills, need some work, that's understandable and that's okay. And I'm going to give you some information about that too in a second here. But just remember, when you're networking, you have to make sure that you're making it a win-win situation. Now, think about it this way. When you're getting to know somebody, let's say you're just meeting somebody for the first time. You go through the phase of getting to know them. It takes time for them to get to know you and you to get to know them. It's no different with networking. Now, that doesn't mean you need to blast somebody every day. But if you met someone, let's say they're in the industry you're dealing with, or you met someone, maybe touch bases once a month or once every 2 months. Hey, how's it going? Hope you're doing well, something, and be genuine about it. See, with me networking, I actually do care about people, and I actually do hit people up and say, "Hey, how's it going?" And I don't want anything. I genuinely want to check and see how people are doing. It takes 2 seconds. Like, why not? That's called being a decent human being. So if you're a decent human being, it's going to be easy for you to network because people won't see you as that cold stranger that's just trying to rob them. And no connection is too unimportant. I'm not saying that you have to connect with every single person, but at the end of the day, all connections should be treated preciously because you never know who knows who or who's going to say what to who. You never know. You see what I mean? See, if someone comes across me in a bad or negative way, I usually don't bad talk them. You can go over all my videos, all my podcasts, all my socials, website. You won't catch me talking about someone. That's just not my style. There's nowhere anywhere where I've talked negatively about someone and called them out like by name. There's never. Now, I might give a scenario example, but that is for the spirit of teaching and coaching and sharing. It's not for the purpose of blasting people. That's just not my personality. That's just not what I do. I'm talking about people, not companies. So now, when it comes to networking, here's the thing. Different people are going to have different interests. So let's say, you have a certain interest or a certain industry you're into. Then here's how you can meet people. Here's a way that you can meet people. Look up an organization that's in the industry. Like, for example, I'm in music. I'm a songwriter under BMI, and my publishing company is registered to both BMI and ASCAP. And with those organizations, they have workshops and, get-togethers and meetings and things like that. Especially when things are open up and normal, that's what they have. And so over the years, that's how I've met people. I've met people that way by attending things, and I'll meet them and then I'll follow up from time to time. Hey, how's it going? Happy New Year. Or if I know their birthday, happy birthday. It's little things to show you care. That's called being a decent human being. And again, if you're someone it's easy for you to do that, then the issue at that point is going to be about organization. And we have great technology, and I use Google Calendar a lot. I use different things to help remind me of things, because sometimes I intend to do things, but it can slip my mind depending on what's going on. But just remember, networking, you have to warm people up. And some people are going to click with you and some won't. They don't know you. You can't expect people to treat you like their bestie. They don't know you. Over time, they'll get to know you. But you just be a genuine person. Now, for those of you who struggle with networking and you may feel like, hey, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do, here's something that will help you. A couple things. One, look up random general stuff. You can look on the news, or you can maybe go to other sources and see what are some major topics that's at the top of people's mind. It doesn't have to be anything controversial, so to say, but if you keep abreast of like just different general topics that the majority of the population is probably going to at least have heard of, then 9 times out of 10, you have something to talk about. And most of the time, people are going to be just as nervous as you, so they're not going to sit there and say, oh, well, you didn't talk to me. But you can do that. Now, here's another thing, and this is going to sound a little crazy. I would say if you struggle, and this is even good for people who don't struggle with it, take improv acting classes. Even if you don't want to be an actor, I'm going to tell you why. Improv acting is so awesome because it teaches you how to be on the spot with people. And it teaches you to think on your feet. And when you're having conversations with people, you're going to have to think on your feet. So I think that's a great source. And if you don't want to do that, then perhaps you can maybe go online and try to meet people. I mean, there's all kinds of sites, meetup.com, you have LinkedIn, you have the social medias. Just generally get out there and just start talking to people. Because how can you get better if you don't practice? Networking is a skill. I had a meeting. With Mike Smith, and he's a global president of a record company. And one of the things that we talked about in the meeting, he mentioned, hey, networking is a skill. And I was like, absolutely. And I was telling him, hey, on my podcasts and videos, this is things that I'm sharing with people. This is things that I'm trying to get people to understand. And that's why I'm like, this is a huge deal, because that's the 4th time that a conversation about networking have come up. That was the 4th time with different people. And so I said to myself, this is an issue. And I'm actually writing a book about it, because there's not enough time on this podcast for me to go into all the details of it. But what I would like for you to take away today is this. I want you to take away the following. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. So remember that. You can do it. You can teach yourself how to network. You can learn it. And it starts with one connection at a time. Organize your contacts. If you don't have them all on a list, not just on your phone, maybe save them in your email or your contact on the email. Make sure it's backed up in case you lose your phone or something happens. Keep these contacts and make a way to remind yourself to touch bases with people. There's a wonderful tool on Gmail because you can use Gmail whether you have Gmail or whether you have something through a company. Gmail has like G Suites and Workspace or whatever it's called now. And you can, but most, I don't know, I can't say most email providers do, but I'm very familiar with Gmail. They have a wonderful thing called schedule message. So if you think you're too busy or you're going to forget, then maybe block out an hour out of a month or 30 minutes out of a month and say, okay, you know what? I'm going to set up scheduled messages for these dates to these people to ask them how they're doing and be genuine about it. Because people are human. You have to remember that. We are not our titles. Just because such and such is, an award-winning this and that, they're still humans. We're human beings. And just remember the analogy I told you at the very beginning. Do you want a stranger coming up to you and saying, hey, I want you to give me A, B, and C, and I'm going to give you nothing, and I want you to be happy about it? No, you'll say get lost. That's the beginning of networking. So my challenge to you is this. If you already have people that you know, make it a point from time to time to reach out, ask them how they're doing, say hello. Some may be warm to you, some may not. They may not be used to you doing that. But just do it from time to time. It could be twice a year. I mean, you have to determine what's good for you. But that's the first challenge that I give you today. And the second challenge for yourself is sharpen your networking skills. Practice networking. Practice getting to know people. Don't be forceful, but just find common interests and do it. There's plenty of places that you can do it. Plenty. Now, if it's just some random person on social, that can be a little bit more tough because it's really there for entertainment and you can network, but then that can get tricky. Then you're networking through comments or direct messages or whatever. That may be a little bit tricky. But what you can do is if, let's say there's something that you're interested in, like an industry that you're interested in, look that industry up. See what names come up. See if they have websites and they have a newsletter. Get on their newsletter. And 9 times out of 10, eventually, if you're on people's newsletters, they eventually might have a workshop or they might have a get together, or sometimes you can just hit reply to the emails you get from them and say something. Hey, I like your work or I like what you're doing. Tell them why. Look it up and be genuine. Tell them why. Now, I'm not saying stalk anybody, but if there's information available, like let's say they have a social page and you see that they like dogs, then maybe, and you like dogs too, hey, I saw a picture of you on Instagram with this dog. I have this dog, blah, blah, blah. Just be friendly, but don't push. People will let you know what temperature they want to go at. You can tell with the responses. If someone's responding to you in an engaging way and it shows that it's left open, then it's okay to respond back. But if they're responding in a way to where it's like, okay, this conversation has closed, leave that conversation alone, Or if you do reply, keep it short, brief, no questions. and then give it time, give it breathing room, give it at least 2 weeks to a month, you know, and then if you want to reach out, maybe have something to talk about. But again, I probably would stay away from controversial situations. But again, it's going to depend on who you're talking to and what's going on. I just know that most people are going to argue about politics, religion, um, politics and religion. Those will be the top two things I say that people would disagree about. So I tend to stay away from those topics in general. so networking does not have to be hard. But the reason why it was so important for me to share this with you today is because networking is a part of your support system. It is. Meeting like-minded people, meeting people who you can associate with, that's what networking is. It helps build a support system. If you want to build a support system, then you need to be a support system. How do you be a support system? Be a genuine human being that actually cares about people. And not go into situations with what can I gain from it? But go into a situation with how can I exchange it? And that's it. It's not so scary and it's not so hard once you start this. So again, sign up to people's email lists, attend workshops. If there's something going on, it's a lot of virtual stuff going on. So if you don't want to go in person, there's a lot of virtual stuff that's going on. And that's not going to go away even when people are in person. It's still going to be virtual. It's going to be a combination of both. So it's all kind of things. And another thing, I love masterminds. Here's what a mastermind is for those of you who may not know it. A mastermind is when people collaborate, they come together, they collaborate, and they exchange ideas, they talk. People can share their experiences, they can share what they've learned, they can share anything that is positively that has happened to them. And it's an even exchange. I do masterminds every month. As busy as I am, I still find time. And it's 3 different masterminds that I go to that I usually do. And they're all in different ways and industries. They're different. But it's regular. I go at least once a month to all 3. And sometimes I talk, sometimes I don't. It just depends. I mean, if I have something to say that I want to share, I'll share it. No questions asked. I'll definitely share it. But if it's like, sometimes it's just going to go a little bit where you might be on the quieter side. But it's a great way to get to know people. And even if it's not a mastermind, there's tons of people having Zoom sessions, networking meetings. People are interacting. People are engaging. So there's no excuse to not be able to network, especially in today's age. With all the technology that we have, it's definitely no excuse. So I've given you great ideas today, and the only thing you have to do now is just apply it. Because you never know who knows who. You ever wonder, like, how does someone get connected? Or how does someone know this person or that person? This is how you do it. It's very simple. This is how you do it. You just have to put the time in and give people time to get to know you. That's what you have to do. I'm a member of plenty of associations, plenty of organizations, and I definitely take advantage of, when they have get-togethers or meetings, things like that. I take advantage of that because what a great way to meet people. Now, depending on what you're doing or what you're into or what your interest is, every industry isn't going to have that, but there's still ways to meet people. There's a ton of groups. You can look for groups online. You know what I mean? Look for groups and see, is there a group that have this interest that I have? And then go and meet the group. You have Facebook groups, you have Discord groups, you have independent groups where people are just meeting on, just to meet. I even have a platform under I Am Strong Community. And it's an actual platform where people can meet other people. So it's all set up for networking. So in closing here, I want you to challenge yourself to get better at networking. We all can get better. Even though I consider myself a great networker, I'm still learning to be better myself. So although I'm sharing this information with you, I'm in the same boat and always learning. And one of the biggest things that I've learned is you got to get organized so that you can stay on top of it. Because once you start getting to know a lot of people, it can be very easy to neglect people. And you don't want to just contact people when you need something. Contact them and say hi. You will be shocked at who you meet. I'm not going to drop any names here, but I've met some incredible people, some incredible well-known people just through coincidence that way. By just networking and being genuine. And it's like, and to me, they're just normal people. Just normal people like you and me. We all bleed. We all go through pain. We all have headaches at times. Everybody has something. We're all people. So just remember that there's people behind these brands. There's people behind the mask of what they do. It just isn't, this is such and such. People are so caught up on titles that they forget human beings. So remember, it's human beings. And that's it. I consider myself just average Joe. I know a lot of people call me smart and stuff, but I don't feel like I'm just this. I don't walk around proclaiming myself as a genius. But what I do know, the things that I know well, and the things that I don't know, I'm willing to learn it. And I admit I don't know everything. But one thing I can tell you is if you want to be great at networking, you have to be great at being genuine with people. And if you're not naturally genuine, learn it. Learn it. That's it. All right. So hopefully this gave you some great information. Don't forget to do those challenges, and I'll see you next time. All right. Fired Up Friday is now Fired Up Freedom. Running from myself at times I can't describe the words I try.